So that is one of the things that I wanted to ask you. What is, I mean, we think, okay, people pass on and they go to heaven if you're religious or spiritual. Um, what is, you're saying that they're trapped in the earth realm? How do the realms work?
I don't know exactly everything about it all, but I know that there are different layers. And
Okay.
sometimes if somebody is murdered or they have unfinished business, they might have been murdered, they might have died in a car accident, and they're sort of stuck at the site. Sometimes historical locations, where there was a war, there'll still be energies from there. It doesn't always mean they're always trapped. Sometimes it's just that memory. So some things can be a memory trapped in time of what had happened at that location. But I think we can
How,
all go to the light.
just sorry, just explain that to me. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What do you
Sorry.
mean a memory? I understand conceptually in terms of a spirit trapped in being earthbound, but how does a memory get trapped and then not a spirit be attached to that?
Well, sometimes it's like a residual energy of the land.
Right.
So, say, for example, there was an area that we used to go and do some investigations. It's called Studley Park. It's at Camden. It's on a golf course, but it was actually uh, a house that I think one of the early film studios owners owned, and his little boy drowned there. And then there was military people that were there when it was. I think it was First World War. I can't remember. I think it's First World War. We went there to investigate, and so at a certain time, the soldiers would come down the stairs and say it was lunchtime, and say it was 12 o'clock, for example. So we were there around that time, and then the whole place started going crazy. So you could hear all this stomping of boots coming down. It was like a three-story place coming down the stairs, and then we were standing down where the main area where they would have had their lunch, and there was a guest book because it had been a restaurant at a stage, but it was no longer being used for that at that point. And the book just flipped over, every page just flipped right over, like the wind had got it, and there was no wind inside. And so it was sort of like a memory of time that at that particular time, that's what happened. We had the same thing happen at the Sydney College of the Arts, where it's Callum Park, which is one of the terrible mental hospitals that we had in Sydney. And that was a certain time where the patients would be taken for lunch, and the same thing would happen. So there would be a lot of activity. So it would be just more like it's replaying. It's almost like it's on a I don't know, it's like on a timer that things would happen. It's like dad might have passed away and he might have come home at 6 o'clock, and he went down to the back gate and came through the back door, and you'd hear his shoes come in. So sometimes that same thing will replay even though they've been passed for 20 years.